Not normal, not tempered, but arch-tempered. Let's do this thing. Hello, my fellow hunters, and welcome then to the first arch-tempered monster of Wilds. REY DAU railgun right now, but how? How is he? And perhaps most importantly, how is his armor? We'll get into that, but first the former, the fight. Okay, straight away, off the top, I will admit, I wish he was a little bit more challenging. I kinda wanted to get destroyed, disintegrated. In fact, I wanted to get evaporated like this poor Chatacabra. But sadly, it didn't happen. However, that's literally my only negative. Arch-tempered REY DAU is up there instantly with the very best of the arch-tempered system. The Xenogivas, the Nergigantes, the Velcanas and the Namiels. He is a huge step up relative to base REY DAU, and he certainly is not easy. Let's make no mistake there. He hits hard, he is faster, he has new moves, he has extra parts to existing moves, he's got new combos, he really does change it up. His nest is extra horrifying, or at least I think it is. There's always that arch-tempered kind of, is that new? I can't remember, did he do that? Is that new? I think that's new. So we'll of course get to the nitty-gritty and fully test literally everything very soon for you guys, but on the whole, you will certainly have a lot of moments of, oh my god, he's doing what now? And yeah, you are going to feel the pain if you are not upgraded in the armor department. In any case, he is most importantly above all fun. The tempo and pace of the hunt. Actually having a REY DAU that feels like what REY DAU was always meant to be. A part of me kind of wishes that this just was REY DAU. Or as Codden put it in the Pro and Noob that you will be getting tomorrow, it kind of feels like fighting Master Rank REY DAU. And he really is just lovely. I really appreciate the step in the right direction here. He has one particular flash zap the ground, hop up into the air, and then nearly instantly fire his railgun that I think is going to catch a lot of people out. It put us to a tiny fraction of health, but not quite caught multiple times, and I think for a lot of people in a lot of sets, that will involve just instant death. So perhaps maybe I am being a little bit harsh, saying I wish it was a little bit harder, but I can't help but be the hunter masochist we all are deep down. The bottom line here, though, is I think it's inarguable that this is a success for the arch-tempered system in a way that the world-born ones never quite captured. It could, of course, be my imagination, but just the raw dance of the fight felt so much better. And I really am glad that this is the beginning. Of course, as we end up getting other arch-tempered apexes, one would assume, I imagine it's going to evolve and grow, and there is a lot of room for potential there. REY DAU is very much focused in on what he does, but he does it now superbly. I really think that if you've not fought him yet, you will have a lovely experience, and I think you might have to sit up just a little bit, but not quite as much as you were expecting. Maybe a good 78 degrees on that back. Something, maybe the metaphor's been lost here. In any case, then, that is my initial thoughts on the actual hunt, the fight itself. Essentially just REY DAU in a perfect form. A kind of REY DAU that I always would have wanted, and a REY DAU that I think feels so complete in a lovely sweet spot way. And perhaps that's actually what the arch-tempered system should do. Give you a pinnacle form of a monster, but that that doesn't necessarily need to come in the realm of everything it does just one-shots you. So, certainly food for thought. I would love to know what your guys' opinions are, and of course mine here is based off literally one hunt, so take that as you will. In any case, let's talk about Wilds' first Gamma armor set. This then has some serious potential. We obviously knew it would be all about the latent power, that's what REY DAU is, and the theme from the previous Arch-Tempered is does what the monster does, but better on a better set. And immediately having this full spread of max latent power, 3 maximum might, and then some nice supporting skills and stamina surge, evade extender, and then that all-important little bit of Wex is really promising to begin with. So if we go to the helmet, this to me is sort of the champion piece. A 3 slot is lovely, coupled with the weakness exploit, that is 2 3 slots worth of skills, which is a good baseline. Then we get a maximum might and a stamina surge, which is essentially 2 2 slots. The stamina surge does complement the maximum might, even if you're not a weapon or build that strictly would need stamina surge, and you get just a really, really efficient piece of armor that by itself may just, slightly improve existing best sets. But of course, I think the big question is it going to end up being worthwhile to actually go into multiple pieces of REY DAU for the set bonuses to maybe even play with latent power? We did test latent power recently in prep for Arch-Tempered Rey, and it's almost there. And it might well be the tipping point here. The chest is, 3 latent power in a 1 slot, which in a vacuum isn't great, but in the context of if you end up going 4-set Gamma Rey, is actually quite an alright piece, but essentially that's its limited role. If we can justify a good use of latent power, if we use REY DAU's 4-set, then getting 3 ranks of it here has potential. The gloves at 2 3 slots, so we get that 2 3 slot needing ranks of skill, so that's nice. A couple of evade extender is fine. I find that it can sometimes work against you on certain weapons if you're not used to that roll spacing. A lot of weapons do like it though. I think this one is just fine. The waist, 2 latent power, 2 maximum might, but no slots. Again, if latent power is the way, this gets a lot more appealing, especially as part of the set bonus, and if you do wear the waist, the chest, and the helmet, you get full max might, full latent power, and the 2-set Thunderous Roar, and then the new 3-set group set, so that might be a way to go. In a vacuum by itself, it's just kinda fine. There are better waists. The legs then, probably on balance the weakest piece. Stamina Surge is easy to slot in with 2 slots. Stun Resist really isn't as valuable in Wilds as it was in World and Iceborne. Essentially, no one uses it for good reason. And then a single 3 slot isn't that crazy. This could really be 2 free slots and then we'd be talking. So for me, it really is just the helmet is just great that it exists in the game. I can see this being used a lot. The rest only really will super matter if REY DAU's set bonuses start to matter. We know what Thunderous Roar does. At 2, it extends latent power to 230 minutes, and at 4, 330. At 330 minutes activation, latent power becomes a very good skill if you can get it going within the sort of first minute and a half of a hunt, which is certainly possible, especially on Counter-Strike weapons. But then we have, of course, the new group Lord's Soul. And this, initially just as Guts, was like, oh, okay, so we can survive a hit. That's not very exciting. But we also get this boosts attack and lowers defense with the survivor hit. Now, the survivor hit is a lovely safety net. Sometimes you can get in a bad situation and then you won't die once because of this. Then you come back, you lose the attack and the lower defense, but instead you gain defense and res, which actually makes this an interesting topsy-turvy potential for immortal shenanigans I'll look into. In any case, there's not much I can say about this from the reading of it, right? Because bottom line, if boost attack is high enough, then everyone will use 3-set Lord Soul, and it's the new meta. If it's not high enough, then we won't. It's kind of binary black and white, unless it's just sort of on the cusp, where it's about as good as other options, in which case we have some headache maths coming ahead of us, but I will do it and let you guys know. but this has a lot of potential. It's a really fun bonus. However, it's not unique to REY DAU. If this is just the arch-tempered group sort of set bonus, if perhaps the other 3 apexes, they come as arch-tempered, and we get more Lord Soul options, even Jin dahaad with his agitator and weakness exploit, suddenly 3 set of this might start to be just a lovely, delicious bonus on what's just a better set of armor to put on anyway, and that's exciting. I think this also really does lend to, yeah, more arch-tempereds. If more have already been talked about and I'm just blanking, then I do apologize there. In any case, yeah, this is very, very curious, and we will be testing it thoroughly and getting it to you literally as soon as possible, so watch this space. Basically, I really like this armor set. I think it is a really lovely sort of sweet point where it's got potential, it's powerful, but it's not immediately, or at least from a quick look, going to be dominating, topsy-turvy, turn everything on its head, but there is definitely some theory crafting to be done and potential for the future. So all in all, yeah, I think this is a solid start to Gamma Wild sets. In any case then, we'll be back soon with much more goodness on Arch-Rey. Let me know how you guys are finding him, what your thoughts are, and for now, like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.